Every scholarship around the world has its own procedures, and each procedure has its own date or time period. Now, in this video, I am going to discuss all the time periods that Turkiye Burslari, which is actually Turkey scholarships, has, and give you the dates or the time periods that each of them have. The first one is the application period. This application period actually begins from the 10th of January to the 20th of February. Now, some people may be worried, oh, what about if I apply late? Are they actually going to consider me when they are going through the applications? Well, it doesn't really matter whether you are one of the first people to apply or you are one of the last people to apply. That doesn't actually matter. Because in fact, in 2022, when I applied, I was actually one of the last people to apply, I think. Yeah, I actually applied on the 20th of February, and that was even in the and that was actually in the evening. Yeah, I remember. But I still got a scholarship. So it doesn't actually really matter whether you apply on the first day, whether you apply at the middle of the period, or you apply on the last day of application. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you follow the procedure when applying, and that's all. And in the previous videos, I actually explained the required documents, the procedure, and other things. So you can check the previous videos to see these things. The second one is the evaluation process or the evaluation period, we can say. Now, this period actually starts from March and end in May. Within this period, the experts, or should I say those who are within the Turkish Scholarship Board, actually go through the applications, go through the documents that students sent to see whether they are genuine, whether they are fake, and then they pick out those who give good intent letters. Intent letter is actually very, very important. Actually, in the previous video, I spoke about the intent letter and what it requires and other things. And they also check whether students have actually sent all the required documents that they asked for. So after they check these things, that's when they actually start to check the grades. So the grades is actually a secondary thing. So make sure that you first of all give all the required documents that they ask. Then you also think about your grades too, if it's very good or not. So that's why I said in the previous video, do not worry so much whether your grades are bad or they are normal or they are average, because the grades is actually something that's secondary, even though they consider it somehow, but you can still get average grades. And since you got a good intense letter and you follow the procedure that they spoke about, you can get the scholarship too. The next procedure is the interview. Now, actually, on the website, they stated that the interview period starts from June and ends in July. But actually, in 2022, I was one of those who were called for the interview, and actually, our interview happened in May. So I don't think this is actually accurate. Actually, it starts from May and then ends in July. Even those who also applied last year and were called for the interview said that it started in May. So I think that's maybe the general thing. It may start in May, then maybe continue up to July. Actually, before even the interview happened, on the same day, we were made to enter a certain room and we had an examination. So this exam actually contained questions from mathematics and also logical reasoning. So we had mathematical questions and we also had logical reasoning questions. These questions are a little bit challenging, but I think if you are prepared for examinations like SAT and other international examinations, I think you will also be able to handle these kind of questions. So what I'll advise is that if you are selected for the interview, actually they'll give you a notice about 1 week or 2 weeks before the interview. So when you are selected for the interview, I mean, if you see the message that they say you are being invited to the interview, just try and prepare for SAT. Like just find some SAT kind of questions and solve them. The logical reasoning ones, the mathematical ones. I think there was a lot of calculus in my time. And also algebra. So just try and get these things straight, and you'll be able to get a hold of these exams and destroy them. Number four is the announcement of results. So now this actually happens in the early of August. So by the beginning, maybe in the first or second week of August, people will start seeing notices that, oh, I've been accepted for the Turkish government scholarship. So let me mention that the interview actually plays a bigger role in your selection than even your documents or whatever. So first of all, as I mentioned, don't be so worried about your results from high school or whether you are applying for masters and you had some bad results from university. Just make sure that you follow all the procedure that they stated in their website, or as I mentioned in my previous videos. If you want, you can also check my previous videos. I mentioned some of the things. Just provide all the documents that they want, as I mentioned in the previous video too, and then that'll be all. You'll be surprised that you may even be called for the interview. And then, as I said, try and prepare for that examination. before the interview. But even with that examination, one of my friends was even just telling me that they actually tell you that, oh, the exam you took was just to test you, but they are not it's not going to actually affect the results, or it's not going to affect whether you are going to get a scholarship or not. So just be calm during the interview and make sure you give them the answers they want, and just be fluent, be calm, and be normal. And you'll be surprised that in that early of August, you'll be sent the notice that you'll be accepted for the scholarship. The fifth procedure is the visa processing. So after you have been accepted for the scholarship program in the early of August, within August, you will be directed to go to your embassy to start your visa processing. Now, when you are going to the embassy to apply for the visa, you'll be told that you have to submit some documents by the scholarship board. It will be actually written in a mail that they'll send to you. So you have to take these documents, things like your diploma, your transcripts, medical reports, and some other documents. I'll actually create videos on those things as time goes on. So don't worry so much about it. As the time approaches, I'll be creating videos on these things. Now, the sixth and final procedure is the transfer of grantees to Turkey. Yes, so after you are done processing your visa, they'll start sending you your tickets, and it actually starts from September and ends in October. So, for example, in my time, my flight ticket was delayed, so I actually came, I think, in the like second or third week of October. But for some of my friends, they came even in September. Some to came Okay, it's actually started in September, yeah. So that's how it is. Actually starts from September and ends in August. Actually, when the time is approaching, they'll give you the option to choose whether you want them to send you a flight ticket or you want to pay your flight ticket. Well, obviously, everyone will choose to get the flight ticket for free. I mean, so we've come to the end of the video, guys. I hope we are able to get more information about the scholarship or the procedures and stuff like that. I'm going to actually keep on posting much more content about the scholarship, and as I mentioned, as each procedure comes forth, I'll also be creating videos about them and how to successfully pass them, or how to successfully overcome each of them. So stay tuned, guys. You can subscribe if you want more content on those things, and if you have more questions for me, you can ask me these questions in the comment section. I'll be there for you. I'll reply to all your questions and everything. See you in the next video, guys. Goodbye for now.